Hi. Now, if you're wondering why I'm here for the first time speaking to you all for months now, well, perhaps you're wondering why we're not aboard Cadoa saying hello again, or maybe in the Willett Marine Shed where a huge amount of work was being undertaken aboard Cadoa, or better yet, why aren't we just lounging in one of the many picturesque anchorages which you can find dotted around the coastline of this magnificent country? Why am I here? Well, because, for me at least, this right here is exactly where I was when all of our lives got flipped upside down and life would never be the same again. Okay, let me just move you forward a bit there. Okay, well, it's been a while. I just want to start off by saying to everyone who sent us messages, and it started off slow, and then it became a lot all at once, and it was mostly messages of concern, people asking, how we are you guys still making YouTube videos? Is the channel still a thing? How's Cadoa? Is she still in one piece? Have you set her on fire and abandoned the whole project? How's Carly? How's the pregnancy? How's that going? And yeah, that kind of thing. So, you ever have an event that happens in life? You get up and you go through your day to day, and we intuitively have our own sort of priorities. They might be family, it might be working out at the gym, it might be business or work or whatever it is, whatever your reason why, that's your priority. And then every now and then, right, something just happens. An event happens where the morning before that happens, you've got your priority list, a YouTube channel, Cadoa, fixing Cadoa up, the pregnancy's going and life's going in this direction, and then something happens where in an instant after that event happens, like everything that used to feel important stops being important, at least in that moment. And for me, that moment was 2 months ago, and I was here. I wasn't originally going to tell this story. Our friends and family know what happened, and are amazingly kind, considerate, patient, loyal patrons have been sort of kept up. They know what happened. I haven't gone too deep into it because, again, I wasn't really going to tell the story publicly because I struggled to tell the story to the end and not become emotional. And the world needs a lot of things right now. I don't know if it needs a man in his mid-40s crying on his own in the woods for a bunch of strangers to watch for entertainment. So if you're watching this video, you'll know that I got to the end of it and I'm okay to tell the story now. So let me take you back in time. Approximately 2 months ago, Carly and I, Carly was 6.5 months pregnant. Everything was going swimmingly, or so we thought. And one morning we had an appointment from the midwives. They were coming to visit us, and it was just a box ticking exercise. They were just coming to visit us, and they're going to check the baby's size of the bump, the heartbeat, how Carly's blood pressure is, so on and so forth, and be on their merry way. And that particular morning, when the midwives came to visit us, one of the things they struggled with, they struggled to find the baby's heartbeat. And that would normally be concerning, but he was moving around an awful lot, so he was very active. So they just put this down to struggling to pin him down because he was a bit of an active kid. Almost certainly inherited some of my hyperactive DNA, unfortunately for him. But ever since we found out we were going to have a baby, one of the things that everyone that we've ever been involved with, any of the sonographers and the midwives, everyone has always said the same thing. Your kid's such a wriggler. He's really active. So this wasn't out of the norm. But after the midwife's appointment, one of the things they said to Carly is like, look, we can't pin it down and get his heartbeat. So after we go, take yourself off to the hospital, and there they'll be able to pin him down with some more sophisticated equipment and a little bit more help, and they'll be able to take his heart rate and tick that box, and off you go. And it was still quite early in the morning. There wasn't any real sense of urgency to that. It was just like, yeah, go in a minute, go this afternoon, go this evening, but yeah, make it a priority to some degree, but don't panic, I'm sure everything's fine. And so with that, Carly and I've been at every single hospital appointment with Carly, but this one seemed like a nothing burger at the time. And so Hank hadn't had his morning walk yet, and we only had the one car. And so Carly was either going to come on the walk with me, we were going to leave Hank and then both go to the hospital. But by that point, this is as deep as the reasoning probably was. By the time we've got through all of that and then the hospital and back, we would be having lunch quite late in the day. Fickle decisions. And as it happened, we decided that Carly would drop me in the woods, I would take Hank for a walk, and then she would go to the hospital and have this box ticking exercise taken care of, and then we'd meet back in a couple of hours' time and we'd go get some lunch together. That was the plan for the day. Anyway, so I get to this amazing forest and I'm walking around with Hank, and there isn't a great deal of phone reception here. And so I'm hiking through the woods, and then eventually I get up to the top of this hill and my phone starts vibrating and I'm getting text messages, but I'm getting so many text messages back to back to back to back to back, it actually feels like my phone is ringing. And when I open them, they're all from Carly, and they were essentially saying that something's wrong, she's not sure what's going on, there's lots of consultants, there's 15 people around her, she's scared. And I've just phoned her because this all seemed like it came out of nowhere. And so I phoned my wife, and a lady answers the phone who wasn't my wife, and it was a nurse. And I asked after Carly, and she said, Carly's in theatre. I said, why is she in theatre? She said, because they're taking the baby out. She's 6.5 months pregnant, so it's not due for months. Why? She said, how long is it going to take you to get here? I don't know. I'm in the middle of the forest. I'm 10 miles away. I don't have a car. I have no idea. I'm in the countryside. But I just knew I had to get there as quick as I humanly could. So I ran back with Hank as fast as I could. Turns out, nowhere near as fit as I always imagined I was. And after several mild, close encounters with a heart attack, later I made it back home. My mum amazingly came and picked me up, took me to the hospital, where I went searching for Carly. I need to be met by a nurse who took me to a side ward. And when I asked how Carly was, she said, a consultant will come and talk to you in a minute. And that was a bit scary. Shortly after that, a consultant came and told me that they performed an operation on Carly and they had to remove the child. And before we could even really finish what he was saying, a nurse came into the side ward and said, your wife's waking up and she's asking after you. And so I just went to Carly. And now Carly's gone through this incredibly traumatic experience all on her own. They've taken the child out of Carly, and it's taken to a special care ward. He's in an incubator. He's very, very premature. He's tiny, like the size of my hand. And so Carly's gone in expecting to have a measurement taken, essentially, and is now waking up, having gone through this whole ordeal on her own. No bump, no baby. Baby's not even, she can't even see it, she can't move, she can't walk. She's just undergone a huge operation. And so, cognizant of this fact, I go in and see Carly, and the first thing she says is, how's the baby? I'm like, I don't know, I've just come to see you, but I'm going to go check now for you, I'll be right back. And Carly's obviously incredibly sentimental, but you don't need to be incredibly sentimental to be any mother that's just had their baby taken away from them, to know that it's important. So I said to Carly, look, I'll be right back, I'm going to go and find him, and I'll get some pictures, I'll get some videos, I'll bring them back so you can see what you've made. And a lovely nurse took me to the ward that he was in, which is a special care baby ward that you had to like buzz in for them to let you in. And they took me to the ward right at the back, and in this little perspex box was this tiny, tiny little creature barely bigger than my hand. And I didn't know really what to do. I'm like, can I touch him? Is it okay if I? And the nurse is like, yeah, you can touch him. So I washed my hands and I put them in this little pod, this incubator that he's in, and I'm sort of filming it. I'm touching his back, and I can't even remember what I said. How small are you? I still thought I had a couple of months to, come into parenthood. But he was there with all these pipes and tubes and wires attached to him. And so I awkwardly just sort of touched him, got some footage, because I mostly wanted to take it back to Carly, because I think that, she obviously needed to see this. And so then as I'm leaving this ward, the nurse behind the counter says to me, look, I know this is quite jarring for you, this might be quite crazy, but look, come and go as often as you need. And, just buzz the door, we'll let you in just as much as you need. I was like, cool, great. And so I go back to the ward where Carly is, and she's in the bed, and she's looking really pale, like really white. And I was like, it didn't occur to me at that moment, but I went to show Carly the phone. I went, hey, look what we created. And Carly took the phone from me, and she looked at it, and she said, I can't see it. It looks really blurry. And I'm like, oh no, was it so humid in there that maybe the lens steamed up or something and caught a foggy video? And I looked at it, and it was like crystal clear 4K resolution. I went, no, it's fine. And as I went to give her the phone back, she was even whiter than she was, as white can possibly be. And then these alarms start sounding, and these alarms are going off, and these nurses and doctors come running in to where Carly is and sort of nudge me out of the way. And I'm sort of looking at Carly going, are you okay? And she's smiling still. She's still smiling. And she says, yeah, I'm fine. I'm just a bit tired. Anyway, the nurses and the doctors, they pull the covers off Carly, and they're talking amongst themselves. Is she still hemorrhaging? I'm like, still? What do you mean still? And I'm kind of like out now, sort of walking backwards into the hallway as they're attending to Carly as her blood pressure is falling off of a cliff. And turns out she had lost a huge amount of blood during the operation, and so I decided to take myself off. So I'm going to go back to our baby. I'm going to get some more footage. I'm going to sit with him for a while and try and be a bit less awkward around him and collect a bit of footage. They're going to fix Carly. They're going to fix her, and I'm going to get some more stuff so that when she comes around, I've got loads to show her, and we can all just enjoy that everything's going to be okay. And so I walked out across the hallway to the special care ward, and I pressed the buzzer as I was told to. And as I pressed the buzzer, the nurse, the lovely lady who was there originally told me to come and go, sort of turns around and looks and sees me in the glass. And I'm like, hey, it's me, the awkward dad. I've come to see the tiny little baby in the tube. And then she just looks away and stares at the wall. I assume she's buzzed me in at this point, and I'm trying to pull the door, and it's like, oh, it's not opened. Maybe she didn't compress the button far enough. So I buzz again, and this time I can hear the buzzer, and she doesn't even turn to look at me this time. She's just staring at the wall, and I'm like, what's going? My spider senses told me something was off, and so I'm looking over the glass to try and see what's going on, and sure enough, over the top I could see the back ward where our child was, and all these doctors and nurses were running in. There were alarms going off, lights going off, and next thing you know, they're like picking up this tiny little baby, and they've got resuscitation masks on him, and he's prodding and all this stuff. And it's safe to say in that moment I got a little bit upset, and I was very keen for them to open the door, let's put it that way. And so next thing you know, this huge, great big man, big porter, all dressed in green, comes down and opens the door with this little lady that was behind the counter, and they could see I was a little bit emotional, and I was like, look, I'll be fine. I'm a grown up, right? I can deal with good news, I can deal with bad news. Like, just don't exclude me, don't ignore me, right? And in that moment, they took me in and put me in another side ward, my second side ward for the day, and they're like, you're gonna have to wait here because your child is in the middle of a cardiac emergency, and everyone that needs to help him is trying to help him. Like you're not going to be much help around them, so just you need to let them do their jobs. And I knew what she was saying was true and made sense. And there I am, I'm sat in this side ward again, staring at the wall. And in one ward, my wife looks like she's in a very bad place, and there's a team of people helping her. And in another ward, my child looks like he's in a bad place, and there's a team of people helping him, and I'm just sat here, useless, just staring at a wall, until I eventually couldn't take it anymore and went out into the ward and sort of had my hands up, like, I just need to know what's happening, otherwise my head will take me to like bad places. Thankfully, the team of people that were there managed to stabilise him, and one of the doctors that I spoke to basically said, he's so premature that we can't look after him in this hospital, and his cardiac heart issues, his lungs collapsed, and they needed to inflate his lungs, and when they tried to inflate his lungs, they gave him some drug that, I don't know whether he had a bad reaction, but his heart rate went from 100 beats a minute up to 280 beats a minute or something crazy. And so they needed to send him to a special intensive care unit, and I just looked at this little doctor, and she was lovely, and said, look, I don't know what's going on with my wife right now, but she's never met her child, and she can't walk, so I don't know whether we need to like wheel her bed in here so she can just see him before he goes, or we need to wheel his bed or his little tube and container over to her to see him. She just needs to see him before he's taken away. I didn't want the first time that, Carly saw her child to, I wanted her to see her child then and there, whilst he was still alive. So the team there were really good. The doctor looked at me and was like, yeah. And sure enough, Carly, my phone beeped, and it was Carly sending me a message, which was great because I didn't know how she was. And it said, "Where are you? I've just woke up again, and you're gone." And I was, I'm just with our little boy, which was technically true. And she says to me, "Oh, good. How is he? Is everything okay?" And she was so weak and so fragile. I didn't have the heart to say anything at all was wrong. And I just thought, what good's it going to do for her to know anything other than, well, that everything's okay? So I just lied. I just said, everything's fine. Everything's fine. I said, everything's good. I said, you've done everything perfectly throughout all of this. And I went back to see Carly. I showed her some videos of my hands touching the baby. And then, sure enough, the doctors and the team and the staff there wheeled Hudson in this giant contraption, which looked like some sort of spaceship with this little tiny morsel of organic matter that happened to be our child, which you could barely even see a human in there because he was so covered in pipes and tubes and needles and wires, and yeah, it was difficult to, you could see a little bit of his cheek maybe, but Carly got to say hello to him, and then he was shipped off to a different hospital at the top level 4 intensive care. And Carly couldn't even go with him in that moment. She had lost so much blood. She'd just undergone a huge operation, and the doctors weren't happy for her to leave the hospital yet, so they wanted to make sure she was stabilised. And it was at that point as well that my parents kindly took Hank to look after Hank, and I just sort of said to the team there, look, I'm not going anywhere. Visiting hours don't apply here, not today. And they were all really good. They brought in another bed, wheeled the bed next to Carly's. We stayed in the same ward, and then as soon as she was fit and strong enough, we would go to the hospital and see how our child was getting on. Yeah. Right, let's try walking and talking. So, in a nutshell, that's why we up sticks and left. That's why we've been gone without a trace for the last couple of months, and I can't decide whether that couple of months has gone by in the blink of an eye, it's gone by really fast, or when I try and cast my mind back to just the day before all of this happened, that almost feels like another life So maybe in some ways it feels like it was a really, really long time ago. But look, I'm not going to keep you guys in suspense anymore, so come with me. Alright. Behind door number 1. Hey, baby mama.
Hey.
I've just been filling everybody in on the story.
Oh gosh.
How does it feel to have the whole family all back together?
It feels so good.
You two had us all worried there for a second.
I was worried too, I won't lie.
Amazing. 6 long weeks in hospital. How's it feel to be out?
I'm relieved. It means that we're getting stronger and yeah, good times ahead, hopefully.
Amazing. Oh, so it definitely feels amazing to all be back together, especially when there were 1 or 2 days here and there, you know, it's been ups and downs where we thought like, I don't know, you know, your brain can go to some pretty dark places, but it's done now, it's done, we're here, we're good, we're looking forward. And as I say, we've been away from YouTube and away from doing...
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. I stole Dominic away. He hasn't been down to the boat for a long time.
Boat work priorities just seem to fall right down. But the amazing team over at Will It Built down in Shamrock Key have been unbelievably understanding. And from what I understand, everything's pretty much just been left as it was 2 months ago when we literally walked off all the different jobs that have started. You know, we've done a bunch of work. You would have seen those videos, but we've got deck work that started, companionway hatch which has started, all the interior of the boat's been ripped out and there's a whole new funky design going on there, as well as replacing the saloon floor. So there's a bunch of things that were all happening simultaneously that just came grinding to a halt. And as I say, the incredibly understanding, brilliant team at Will It Built have been, yeah, they've been great, and they've said, look, get back when you can and we'll hit the ground running and try and get that work done ASAP. So now everyone is safe and well. That's going to be the focus, and well, maybe not quite so much for you. I don't think you're quite ready for any.
I'm going to focus on getting him to
any
like,
sanding and varnishing. Yeah. But yeah, as from next week, guys, there's a whole bunch of jobs where I started. There's a whole bunch of half-made videos that, as I say, just came to an abrupt halt. And yeah, we're going to get back down to the boat, back down to the shed, pick the tools back up, and start pressing on through. Got some really cool stuff going on. The deck has been terrifying, a labour of love. One of those jobs that you almost regret starting, but now it's starting to look like there's a light at the end of the tunnel. It's starting to look really good. And again, you don't know any of this because I haven't put any videos up yet, so I'm going to condense that down into a video, and we've got some really cool stuff to look forward to.
I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, I think I say that, yeah, right? It's going to look great. Hank hasn't entirely got used to having a new member of the crew yet. In fact, he's kind of keeping his distance at the moment, but are you going to say hello to everyone, mate? You going to say hello?
Is that her?
Yeah, not quite ready yet, are you?
No.
No. But for all of you that reached out with your kind words, thank you very much. It means a lot, and sorry we didn't get back to everyone. There was a few to start off with, and then it was just literally hundreds of people, which is flattering and lovely, but hopefully now you all know. That's what's been going on in the world of Cadero Adventures.
Can I say something?
You can say whatever you like.
To anybody who placed an order on my Etsy shop, I am so terribly sorry that you didn't get your order. I was in the hospital, and I know there's still people waiting, and I will get those out to you. So thank you for your patience.
All right. We'll see you all soon. Have a lovely weekend. Bye for now.